Okay. Hey, what's going on? Let me adjust this. It's a little off. Yeah, that's good. Go ahead and get this reading in. I gotta run out to the post office. Some people mail some stuff. So I went ahead, let me show you. Lana was calling me. I gotta call her back. I didn't even know I was downstairs. My phone, I don't like having my phone on me. So right now it's at 102, but that's because I donated to myself on the Cashapp. Yeah, I know. It's right. I did it from my Wells Fargo account, which I'm about to close that anyway. So I have 3 bank accounts. So anyway. So it's at 102 from the 55. So I added something on there, seeing how people are very skittish about donating $5 or $2 or whatever. Because I really want to get these books. And hopefully there's some books there today. We have all weekend. They don't really do nothing on the weekend. So we'll see. Let me turn this light on. I don't like the ring light I have. I don't like the way it looks. Honestly, I don't. Let's turn this down. I actually had some Gregorian chant going, and I went ahead and put on my. I like Gothic. I like goth music. I listen to a lot of Beethoven, Bach. There's a number of other individuals. I'm not going to say their names because a lot of you probably never heard of them. But when it comes to medieval fantasy-like music, not Lord of the Ring, which can be alluded to that, I love the music based upon my travels, and also because I remember certain people in my family who would listen to certain music at night when I'm supposed to be asleep. And I remember one I used to say in the military, I used to say it all the time. I believe it used to come on Channel 13. And at night, I would hear it like every 4 or 5 nights. It would be the same opera. And this gentleman would be up there. And I don't remember his name because I didn't get to see him. It was so late. And I remember him going, Bravo, Carcleon. And I haven't, every once in a while, I'll remember it. But I used to sing it. I used to actually know a lot of the words to it because I used to hear it like for years. And I've been looking for it and I can't find it. So there you go. And so I guess it always resounded with me. But let's go ahead and get into this Abraham Africanus I. And then what I'm going to do is, because I really wanted to finish this book, I'm going to read about 2 chapters today, which is going to be pretty much a handful left to go. And then this afternoon, when I come back from the post office and doing what I got to do, I'm going to come back and we're going to get into these books because I really want to finish 2 of the books up that are close to being finished. So that way I can also finish the other 3 or 4 and start the other books that I really want to, because these books, I've read some of them, except for America, the New World. That's satire. It's actually the old world in there. You'll see it. And the book of Tartaria, which nobody's really reading. People are reading it. They're not reading it through and through like I have. And that's why it disturbs me that people latch on, but they don't know the entirety, because it's hard to explain everything in there, especially if you don't have visuals. And most of us we're visual. We're very visual. So this is different from the morning, grind my gears, blah, blah, blah. All right. I do that intentionally. All right. As I've stated before, because some may be new, and I don't want you to be pushed away because I'm offended. No, I was actually talking to a friend of mine in New Jersey. You know, my Aunt Johanna Wright was one of the heads on the Board of Education and news and all that. Married to Lonnie Wright, Denver Broncos, passed away about 12 years ago, I believe, in Denver Nuggets. And I forget her name, but she's the principal, new principal, and I believe South Orange, New Jersey. And she was just arrested a few nights ago, within the last week, drunk driving. And all she kept saying was, I have to go to the bathroom. Look, you just got up to making $149,000 a year as a middle school principal. $149,000. This is what I'm talking about. She's from New Rochelle, New York. Her father was supposedly some sergeant, retired cop. Like, let me help people out here. If you're going to get drunk, drink spirits. It means something different from what you think. And I would prefer people to stop drinking, unless you're in the proper company. And then to drive and only be 5 minutes away. New Jersey's not going to play that. The police over there, they have a lot of bad ones, but there's some good ones. They're not going to tolerate. And if you say you got to go to the bathroom, they don't care about if you pee or you're defecating on yourself. I'm not saying it to be ugly. There are some who do, but those boys have been used before, so they're not going to go there. If you're drunk, you're drunk. You know, you're pissy drunk. It's going to add to what they're going to do to you. They're not going to allow you to go to the bathroom. The sad thing is to see the sister be so indoctrinated. And remember I was talking about the class situation? And I'm only saying that because of what I read yesterday as far as the flatboat, Abraham Lincoln, the deals he made, the fake 13th, and what's going on. That's all I'm saying is we still want to get out here and we still want to be careless and not careful. It doesn't mean you got to be fearful. But if you're careful, even being careful, you know that bad things can happen because we're living in that time. It's disturbing to see somebody who's supposed to be over their children with the curriculums that they're pushing, and they don't care about your crayon color. They don't care about what your worth is. It matters not to the system. And when you work for the public school system, that's what the policy enforcers are actually for individuals such as yourself that work these jobs. You are monetized by fiat. So therefore, anything you do, if you can be a detriment to yourself, that means you are now off the corporation's chart for earning and wages, and also off the curriculum to indoctrinate more children. Those at the higher spot, come on, you know what's his name, right? What's the guy's name? I want to say comedian. I don't find the guy necessarily funny. Let me see if I can. Woody Harrelson. He did a little thing on Saturday Night Live. I don't know if I can pull it up, where he talked about all the big medicine corporations got together. Now you think it's supposed to be comical or funny or something. But they're taking the truth and they're making it a joke. And I just wanted to mention that. I wanted to mention that this y'all go and look it up, Saturday Night Live, Woody Harrelson, and then tell me what you think in the comments on this after I get them reading. Okay, so we're gonna get into reading. I want to cut it. I don't want to go be too long-winded, and just see for yourself. Okay, because the game's afoot. Now here we are, Abraham Africanus I, Alexander Del Mar, and John F. Feeks and Company. His secret life as revealed under the mesmeric. We've already clarify what that is. Influence. Mysteries of the White House. And this is chapter 5. Braille stories. After 13 voyages, I went in on my old grounds and reoccupied them. I took a laborer with me by the name of Johnny Hanks, and we together split 3,000 rails. Stop one moment, cried Sue. How long did you take to split them? In a day. I take it, says Cheese. No interruption, gentlemen. I want to get at the truth of this. Well, how long, Abe? Sue asked again. About 6 years, replied Abe. And how many of you were there? There was Hanks, and me, and... Never mind, that'll do. If you can't amuse us without lying, my friend, we'll have to let Cheese take the chair in 1865 and leave you out in the draft. Don't. Sue, my friend, cried the sleeping Bram with sudden energy. I'll do anything you wish. Let me only be president for 4 years more. And I thought it would be no harm to romance a little bit, as he states. It's so popular with the people, dear creatures. They'll believe anything. All very fine, Your Excellency, rejoined Sue. But just remember, you can't stuff us quite so readily. And gentlemen, said Bram, turning his auditors one by one and exhibiting his great lanky face, blanched with fear and working with petty cunning. Whatever is done, I don't want to leave me out in the cold. I sacrifice everything to be re-elected. I've got $1 million of money at command and can produce more if wanted. Where from? Asked Chiz. Oh, never mind, replied Abe, with a knowing air. It's none of your shabby greenbacks, master cheese, but good solid gold. I've got friends that have the chink, gentlemen. At the word gold, they all pricked up their ears. Taking advantage of their attention, Bram broke forth. Oh, friends of my bosom, I've made up my mind, and to miss re-election I don't feel inclined. To you a large fortune I'd gladly give o'er, if that's how they said over, or if you let me be in office just 4 or 5 years more. Gentlemen, I repeat my request. Don't leave me out in the draft. I had enough of that once. Let's hear about it, says Senator. Promise to keep me in office then. Do, my dear Stenter, said Bram with a cringing air and trying to get his knees and clasp Stenter's legs. You know how much I've done for you. Made you chief of the War Department when you never knew anything of war. Giving you million after million of profits on contracts, the biggest spoils than Cameron ever earned or Morgan and Cummings ever dreamed of. And you, Cheese, I've given you every chance. You must have made largely on all them revenue cutters, besides what you laid by in gold contracts and stock operations. The humility of the creature was disgusting. He dragged himself towards Sue and exclaimed in pitying accents, Sue, I've given you every chance, kept you in office after your blundering allowed the Stumter and the Alabama to get out. After you let Mason and Seidel escape. After you gave up the mills of the Peterhof. After you truckled to every power in Europe and permitted France to ignore the Monroe Doctrine. Y'all should look up the Monroe Doctrine. I've let you lock up all your private enemies in forts, Lafayette, Delaware, and Warren. We know that these are star forts. And many of them in dungeons from whence they will never emerge. Surely you can't be so ungrateful as to throw me after all that. The three conspirators began to dislike the turn affairs had taken. They soothed him, promised him over everything, got him in his chair again, and started him on the subject of the Black Hawk War. Do y'all know what the Black Hawk War is? Y'all know I live for this. I just do. Let's see if I can slide back. I wish I could just tap in up top. You know what? I should be able to. No, I erased my what you call it. 1832 Black Hawk War. The war erupted after Black Hawk and a group of Sauks, Meskwakis, Fox, and Kickapoos, known as the British Band, crossed the Mississippi River into the U.S. These were our tribes, our people. I would ask you to go and look it up. The Black Hawk War was a conflict between the United States and Native Americans led by Black Hawk, a Sauk. You never hear those tribes, and if you do, they're pale skins running around, and they're not the people, excuse me. Let me see if I can pull up an image. Maybe you'll be able to see it. Okay. Now, they couldn't make them Mongol or Pale, but we know that they were all Negroes. I hate the term Negroes. I'm using that to imply melanated black people or whatever you want to call us. And though the enemy would have you believe otherwise, here is a better depiction of them. No slant eye. Get off my foot. Slant eye, this, that, round face, blah, blah, blah. Narrow, double chin, pretty dark, most. And they aren't the people they always attempt to whitewash history with, which you always know is the case. They have several different photos of him. One rendition would be close to a proximity of this Negro. with his short mohawk, which is a French painting, Mosaic. And I believe that he was mixed by some accord of historical what was going on, because you know what in turn happened in the 1800s and what that was all apart, the rewriting of history. So, okay, there you go. Anyway, let's go on. Chapter 6. The modesty of a soldier forbids that I recount the various deeds. The valorous deeds. Valorous. I say valorous is valorous. Valor, like valor. Deeds performed by me during this campaign. This I leave to Barrett, whom I have rewarded with a fat office for his pains. On my way back to Illinois, and while separated on the road from my companions, I met and defeated, single-handed, 20 of the natives, and left their dead bodies on the road. What? Cried Cheese and Stentor. In Stentorium Chorus 25 and single-handed too? Oh, my honor, said Bram with an air of modest merit. Oh. Gentlemen, allow me to explain. Interposed Sue. I think I can give you the clue to this in a moment. Meanwhile, let us hear what became of Black Hawk. Bram, thus reminded, continued his tale. It seems that Taylor came upon him at the bluffs of the Wisconsin, and after one of the most absurd battles ever fought, he defeated Black Hawk and took him prisoner. For the sake of getting hold of this man and putting an end to the war, he absolutely sacrificed several of his own. How many of the enemy did he kill? Asked Stentor. About 68. Only think of it. It makes one's blood run cold to think of it. A remarkable instance of a sensitive nature, said Cheese in a bland tone, putting his fat white hand approvingly upon Bram's head and smiling at his conference. So you know why they said fat white hand. Now, Sue, let's hear the sequel of the 25 natives killed by my friend. And in parentheses it states, you'll permit me to call you my friend, Bram, will you? And certainly, Cheesy, here it is. I shall read an extract from a congressional speech of Mr. Lincoln delivered during the canvass of 1848. By the way, Mr. Speaker, did you know I am a military hero? And in brackets, derisive laughter from the galleries. And, yes, sir, in the days of the Black Hawk War, I fought, bled, and came away. Speaking of General Cass's career reminds me of my own. I was not at Stillman's defeat, but I was about as near it as Cass to Hall's surrender. And like him, I saw the place very soon afterwards. It is quite certain I did not break my sword, for I had none to break. But I often drew the longbow. If Cass broke his word, the idea is he broke it in desperation. I drew my bow for amusement. If General Cass went in advance of me in picking huckleberries, I missed those. I guess I surpassed him in charges upon the wild onions. If he saw any live fighting Indians, it was more than I did. But I had a good many bloody struggles with the mosquitoes, and on one occasion I remember to have killed 25 of them single-handed. This, gentleman, said Sue, is a verbatim extract from the Daily Globe. And what is more, it was in his momentous struggle the great Bram first realized that immortal saying, nobody hurt. Are you paying attention now? You can look some of this stuff up regardless of what you may take of this. Chapter 7. Palmen cure merit farat. Bram felt so I can't even get the word right. Bram felt so indignant that at the laughter raised by this sally of Sue that he refused to answer any more questions. The Confederates petted and soothed him to no purpose. He was as obstinate as a mule. So then proposed in order that the amusement should not flag to continue Bram's biography from Barrett's pages, and meanwhile Stenter should ply the sleeper well with 40 rod until he got him in good humor again. Drink, people. This being agreed upon, and Bram well nourished with the star-spangled striped pig, so opened the book and commencing at page 47 read, "We now approach the period in the life of this exalted personage, which he was destined by natural, to attain. We mean the career of a statesman. Still, it must not be concealed that Mr. Lincoln's own preferences were in favor of a military life. The adventurous career he had just passed through in the desolating warfare with Black Hawk, and the heroic deeds which make his name illustrious in the annals of the state of Illinois, in connection with this now famous campaign, made him feel that Providence had not intended him to be a mere private in the great battle of life, but that he had certain qualities which could place him at the head of a column or of a brigade if he were so minded." I'm gonna show y'all. This is old typing, and a lot of it's blanked out. Even though I can see it, it's kind of hard to put it together. This is old. Now it may look solid on there, but you can't tell the E if it's a C or O or U, a A or E. Listen, y'all. So I have to do due diligence, proper reading here, and it's tacking. He came home from the Black Hawk War with the high and noble, I can't even make that word out. Oh, excuse me. With the high and noble, it looks like a T, but it looks like an L, determination of working for his own. Living, and I've read this before, living thereafter, provided he would get nobody else to do it for him. His tact at wire pulling, his acquaintance with the longshore men and other roughs of the place, and his faculty of sticking at nothing to gain power, obtained its legitimate reward in his election to the state legislature. Now, the wire pulling is a flatboat. You know, they have a long rope going across and pull the wire to travel the flatboat troops, mules, whatever. And the flatboats weren't really that small. If any of y'all, I believe there might be a museum over there in the Mississippi, in the bayou, or I forget. I'm gonna have to look it up again. I'm not gonna do it right now, where it shows what a flatboat was, and they would carry families, Confederate troops, and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, he was so exhausted of frauds after getting into the legislature that his surveying instruments were sold under the hammer. His appearance in the legislature was not very dignified, it is true, but he made up for that by the quickness he soon displayed of making money. He possessed the rare art of assuming an extra uncouthness or rusticity of manner and outward habit for the purpose of securing particular favor with the masses. He seldom or never spoke during the session, but found means to have himself appointed to the Committee of Public Accounts and Expenditures, which he managed so well that nobody ever suspected him. On both subsequent occasions that he was elected to the legislature, he always managed to get himself on committees that had the management of money affairs, and in this respect showed obvious wisdom. He had thus, and it's on page 63, anyway, we're not there yet, honorably acquitted himself on the battlefield in defending our border settlements against the ravages of the savage foe, and in the halls of the legislature had an eye to the main chance. His eloquence was so scathing and withering that, look, I'm gonna show y'all, man. I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna figure that out. Even though I read it, I skipped over some with that speed read. You couldn't look. So I'm gonna go ahead and just withering that which at first would appear plain and probable, he made to look crooked as a serpent's path, and that which was that cannot be right. That which was tortuous and involved, he straightened out and made it plausible to the simplest minds. Wow! And I need to take an ink pen or a quill or something and fill these in as best as I can, because you can't barely make it out. Look, I'm going to show you. This is old. This is from the 1800s. Can you see it? Is that some old, and it's just reprints. This is all this is. Sadly, they didn't hold the press down on the ink long enough to get a proper placement and mark, which is terrible. It always seems to go more towards the lower of the page. But anyhow, let's go on. This talent stood him so well that when in 1860 the presidential convention met at Chicago and gave on first ballot 173 votes for Seward, 50 for Cameron, 49 for Chase, and 48 for Bates, 14 for Dayton, and 12 for McLean. We know what happened to him. He managed matters in such a way that on the second, Cameron's name was not voted for. And on the third, he, Lincoln, in parentheses, got the nomination himself by 231 votes. It is said he rather got the best of both Seward and Chase. "Fool!" cried the premier, throwing away the book and touching his little bell. "I'll teach the knave to write a simpleton's Cheesy." "Fool," said Cheese. An officer entered. "Search for a man named Barrett, who wrote a life of Lincoln, and convey him under a strong guard to Fort Lafayette. No charge. Instruct Colonel Burke not to obey right of habeas corpus." Excuse me, y'all. I should know better. "Excuse me, Your Honor," said the officer, "but if I am not mistaken, the same gentleman you refer to is one of the president's ministers, now on foreign stations. What political service did he perform to deserve that post?" demanded this lofty Sioux. "He wrote that very book, Your Worship," replied the marshal. "Ah, I see. You may go." The officer retired. The Confederates looked serious. This little incident alone convinced them they had no child to deal with. Brand was evidently up to snuff. And when they came to think for what a small mess of pottage they had bargained away their own nominations, they wondered how this flatboat man of long shanks and little brains had managed to outwit them all. All three fell into a brown study. You hear the names? Well, look up the names. Look up the characters in the role. The Confederates, who were speaking with the Republican, who fought his half-own people, and who would always... Do you know when the statement, "the devil is in the mix" came? And why? Or "the devil is in the details"? And we will... After I come back and read the other books to keep y'all up with what's going on with the sister and, Heaven Bearers and a few other books to keep you in parts of that, later on I'll come back and we'll get into chapter 8 and 9. It gets good. So I appreciate y'all taking the time for this reading. This morning was another cleansing to push away those who want to come and watch. I want those people never to come here. Now, I know people say, what about views? What I need is the Aboriginal, the indigenous community to get away from the sacrilege of this diabolical interruption by certain agents, because we are more powerful than that. And I need them to be able to come over, because there may be a few of them who also may be able to see this and reiterate and find more information and build upon it, instead of bandwagon there and then consuming a little information and then running away like they found the world. I mean, those are the individuals, we see them for what they are. When we come back, we're going to read all these right here. We're going to read, of course, Arthur Kessler, so you have more knowledge based upon what his statements were, what got him killed. William Cooper, Pell B. Horse, Okay? And then we'll get into DNA of the Gods, the Book of the Giants, and then because we're getting further and further into the crypt of exposing the exposition, so that way people will know that, because we know the government and the liars are going to make Tartaria and everything else and the mud floods seem like it's a conspiracy theory and because that's all they know how to do instead of being truthful and honest. And then we'll get into the heaven bearers, and you see we've got a little bit more to go, not too much, but we're crossing that Vex. Okay? And I appreciate you guys taking the time to come in. I wish more people came in, but it is a Monday, so they say. And I can take this off. And I'm plugging this at 100%. Slide out. And we'll pick it up, but I got to run out here. I'm supposed to have some packages and hopefully a couple of books. And I'll share. I got some books. I'll share that and let you guys know. I'm not shaving for about 2 weeks. And I haven't eaten nothing yet. I just drank my dandelion, it's a few herbs, tea, which is like coffee. It's very, very thick. It's very, very robust. And I really want to go today without no food. And I'll lament on that a little later. And I appreciate you guys taking the time to come over. Let me see who all came in. My brother Rondo come in. Who was the first one in? Rondo, I knew it, man. What's going on, family? Guy with the hat. What's up, Rip Floyd? Yeah, you got to tell your son to relax, man. You hear about how they're now confirming and saying COVID came from the lab. You know what? I'm not paying. They with purpose. APJR, what's cracking, family? Gray Wolf. Yeah, you know what? They are so. You know what they are. You know what I mean? Yo, yeah. Aretha Dooley. Yeah, that's her name. Hard on the boozy. Well, she got locked up. You know, it'll all pass over though, because she's got the curriculum. She's got to push 149,000. Yeah. Yep. Oh, they stole your car. When was this, Rep? I mean, Rondo, who stole your car, bro? Hey, Equator, what's going on, Citinelli? I know the point of shitty ones, especially on drugs. Yo, Rondo, when they steal your vehicle, bro? Not the truck. The truck? What you came up with? Every time you came up? Rondo, you still there, brother? Equator 7 in the house. That's crazy, man. They stole your truck, bro. Wow. Well, anyway, let me get my. I'm gonna wear Timberlands today. No, I'm wear some Nikes, I guess. Nah. I'm gonna wear some dull ass Nikes. I think I'll wear these. What do y'all think? Yeah, I'm gonna rock these bad boys. I don't know why I won't straighten up. Cinnamon twin. Police back in 2002. Oh, okay. I thought, man, I was about to say, you know, all these old meth heads and everything else. But anyway, I'm gonna sign off. I'm gonna holler at you guys. Let me run around here and do what I gotta do. I'm gonna come back. I'm probably gonna eat later. Not the try I had on okay, a 94 Eclipse. Oh, okay. But no, I'm glad. Well, I guess they got it back though. But anyway, that's a while ago, 10 years ago. I'm gonna run out here, check everything, and I'll holler at you guys later. You know I love y'all. Beautiful women, my sisters, my brothers, excuse me, I'm trying to burp. And let's go out here and handle this business. See y'all later.